My name is Valerie Berger. I'm a junior and I'm an English and French major. And I am taking Philosophy of Being for Interterm, which is like the third philosophy class in the sequence for the core. I chose to take Interterm. I had done astronomy in Colorado, so I kind of had the feeling of taking a class outside of the normal semester. And I liked kind of the crash course feel of it, where it's one class that would normally take an entire semester, and it's jam-packed into 2 or 3 weeks. So I just kind of liked that feeling, so I decided to do it again for a different class, and this time I did philosophy because that is by no means in any way, shape, or form, no pun intended, my area of expertise. And so having it kind of jam-packed and being able to really focus on that without the distraction of other disciplines was really just kind of appealing to me, that idea of it. And granted, like any class, taking 3 hours of it a day is a little bit overwhelming, but if it's an area especially that you're not particularly good in, or it's just not really your field, it's kind of helpful to have it done all at once, because you're able to focus on that and really direct your attention towards something that you struggle with rather than something that you're good at, if that makes sense. There are 36 people in my class, which is normal. The average class size is 17, and so it's a lot bigger than normal, which is also kind of a benefit of taking the class. It's just a different environment, I guess, because you have more students in one class. It's intense. It's definitely intense. There's a lot of material to cover. You're covering an entire week's worth of material in one day. So any subject like that is going to be a little bit intense. But it's also kind of cool because you see the progression, especially with philosophy, the class that I'm taking. You see the progression of philosophical thought a lot faster. It kind of flows in your head a little bit easier because you'll cover a wider span of thought in a shorter amount of time. So that's kind of how it feels. It's a little intense, but the intensity is kind of helpful in some ways too. For me, I think with philosophy in particular, it would have been more difficult to take it during a normal semester because philosophy is just not what I'm good at. And so if I was taking that with 4 or 5 other classes that I needed to devote equal attention to, I think I wouldn't have gotten as much out of the class. Having it on its own just really helps me to kind of focus in on that instead of having to worry about my English classes and my French classes and things like that. So it's kind of nice to have it as my primary focus, and I think it helps me to absorb it better and perform better in the end. Hopefully, fingers crossed.